what's going on to all of my Sagittarians? So today is most definitely my birthday, and I'm gonna go ahead and live it up today. But before I do that, I just wanted to go ahead and give all of my Sagittarians the videos, right? Because I still have some sort of duty and obligation to uphold, right? So y'all are getting 4 videos today, not Sagittarius exclusively, but the zodiac signs in general. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh yeah, I'm wearing this shirt with this brand new pair of sneakers. I actually had these for a while now. As you can see, the color scheme matches red and black. Wink. I got the looking fly. I got the gold chain on. You know what I mean? I got the skinny jeans going on, joint. I always wanted to dress like this, really, since I was a kid, since the 90s. I remember asking my mom and my sister, and they got mad. They was like, nah, because during the 90s, you remember how you would get laughed out of the building if you wore anything fitted, anything skinny? They would laugh you out of the building, stuff like that. So they ended up getting mad at me, and they was like, you not getting a pair of skinny jeans as a child to wear even if you want it. Ain't no way. So it's quite ironic that I was just like, oh, okay, since the 90s, and I said, okay, I'll come back to it, and then I have. So anyway, so if you'd like to contact me for a personal reading, my email address as well as the prices are in the description box below as usual. If you'd like to purchase any one of my courses, all of my private services are in the description box below. The email address in which you can contact me is in the description box below. If you already have my number because you got a personal reading from me and we're cool, right? You can always send me a text. Please make sure to get this book at Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. The links will be in the description box below as usual. All right. Today's my birthday, so we're not even paying attention to the haters. Forgive them. You know, even less now. It is what it is. So the cards that I come up with are, I am using the Voodoo Tarot. So these things are the imagery and the name of them is gonna come off a little bit different, but I can still interpret them. So don't trip just because they look a certain kind of way and they sound a certain kind of way. So the cards that I come up with is the Oladu Mare, La Baleine, right? The Coria Le Mardi Gras, Gros Bon Ange, right? Yemaya. Remember, this stuff is written in Creole, which is broken French. Now, my grandma could speak broken French, or even fluent French. My great-grandma could speak fluent or broken French. My mom and myself, as far as the generations is concerned, not on that level just of yet to speak French. Not even broken French. So, all right, so cut me some slack. You have the dance. You have the Yaguo, you have Carnival, you have the Hongan, you have, upside down, you have the Man Brigitte, right? You have the Marasa, you have the La Sarine, you have the Mambo, with Rada Mambo, because you have different cards in here named Mambo, the Shilibo, Navavo/Dani. Broken. I don't have a problem with it. It's just hard for an English and a somewhat Spanish speaker. You know what I mean? To sound out that type of stuff. So please, if there's any kind of French speakers out there, please forgive me. You have the Congo La Place. So what I'm seeing here for the Sagittarians is a lot of these Sagittarians right now. You do have the Lovers, which is Marasa, okay? Lovers, as you can see, they're intertwined on the card. They're making love, which reminds me, I just found out the difference between making love and screwing, right? Recently, I didn't even realize what was the difference? Now I understand the difference. Now it's out of my business. Anyway. So what I'm seeing here for the Sagittarians, okay, Sagittarians, is a lot of you Sagittarians right now, a lot of y'all Sagittarians are in a place right now where y'all have a lot to think about, right? In the context of love, y'all got a lot going on. Olodumare, the world, okay? Y'all have a lot to think about. Y'all are kind of thinking of love in a bigger perspective. La Bain Courrier, Le Mardi Gras. Y'all are starting to look at love. Like, not only is it a possibility, right? But also not to take being in a relationship so offensively. Sagittarians and air signs, they tend to have this issue, because like Sagittarians, if you ask me, Sagittarians are like claustrophobic. They're afraid of small spaces. They think that being in a relationship is that small space that they have found themselves in, where there's no room to grow. And a lot of the times the Sagittarians, and I've noticed this through many Sagittarians, right? And a lot of times what the Sagittarians don't necessarily seem to understand is that's nothing but a frame of reference. It's nothing but your own mind playing tricks on itself. Because if the person is going to try to entrap you, or if they're manipulative and abusive, just walk away from them, Sagittarius. I mean, you Sagittarians already have a free spirit enough as it is. You don't have to be in a relationship that people abuse you and treat you like crap in. So the fear that you're creating is something of a delusion, quite literally. And see, the thing is that the Grossman Angé and the Yemiya is about, number one, this is about, like, this is basically like the sun. This is about how the like I said, the newfound perspective on love is completely different than the way that you thought it was, right? A few weeks ago, a few months ago, a few days ago. And the Yemaya represents how you're in a better state of mind because of it. Because now it's like some of you Sagittarians have evolved past the state of just being the stallion, right? Being the mare, right? Being the wild horse, kind of low-key afraid or kind of phobic of people threatening your freedom, right? And realizing now that that's not the case, that you do have control over your own life, and not just your own life, but even your love life, in the sense that if things are in the sense that if things don't necessarily work out for you, then you're not forcing anything, and you're not getting the other person to comply and do what you want them to do. If things don't work out for the two of you organically, then it is what it is. You Sagittarians will just go off and handle and just do your own thing with somebody else or by yourselves if you want to. You Sagittarians can do both, right? Or any of the two. Then you have dance. So the dance represents how you may have even met someone fairly recently, where you either want to hang out with them, you've gone on a date with them, you're kicking it with them, or it's a person that makes you want to dance on the inside, right? Not necessarily dancing physically, some of y'all, right, who applies to this sense, but this person may be so spiritual and meets you eye to eye to the point where they get it. And a lot of you Sagittarians may honestly want to dance on the inside and just so excited and lively. For some of you Sagittarians, you may be physically dancing, because it's a date. The Santeria Yaguo and the Carnival represents, this is a time for a lot of you Sagittarians now where, because you've become so detached from this idea that love equates entrapment and stuff like this, that it's you've allowed yourself now to really relax, because a lot of the times, and this is something that a lot of the Sagittarians ain't gonna talk about, and for the cross watchers, listen in, right? Because I'm kind of spilling their secrets, right? Wink, wink, hint, hint. Part of the reason why it is that Sagittarians end up being like that, where like they kind of like germophobic and stuff like this about love in that sense. Not really germophobic, but I mean like phobic in the sense of being very fidgety in the context of love, is because they suffer from a lot of disappointment. They're fire signs, right? So fire signs are romantic. Water and fire signs are romantic in the sense of they love making things grand. They love making big gestures when they're ready, right? So as a result of this, the Sagittarians have experienced, like air signs, have experienced some sort of extreme heartbreak somewhere in their life where they became detached somewhat from the earthly worries of the world. So a lot of the times, that's what really makes Sagittarians so like it seems like you can't get them in a relationship to save your life, right? For the people who are not Sagittarians, but to the cross watchers and even to the Sagittarians who's watching, right? The Sagittarians are learning to detach themselves from even this ideology of fear that somehow someone is going to come in and disrespect you, clamp you down, knock you over the head, and put you in a cage or something like this. But the Hongan and the Man Brigitte is a representation of like how you realize that you're in control of things, but it also represents you bonding with the other person and things hitting it off so much so that you have the lovers. The two of y'all may end up getting into it, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, hint, hint. The same night, shortly after, meaning a few days afterwards, meaning the same week that you hang out with them. Or it can just mean straight up love in the sense that, you know, you Sagittarians really want to be committed to this person. The La Serene and the Radamambo represents how it is that a lot of you Sagittarians find yourselves being very unusually loyal to this person whom you hit it off with. And the She, Li, Bo, Nova, Val, / Don, E, which is this card, long name at the bottom, and the La Place represents how you Sagittarians ultimately want to make sure that this relationship has some sort of fair shake before it gets destroyed, right? And it does. You know, as long as this person wants to engage with you, wants to be there with you, and as long as you want to be there with them and in a healthy way, it'll work. Let's clarify the Marasa. Queen of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Two of Wands. Two of y'all hitting it off, and it ends up being a good encounter. Whatever happens on that encounter, you know what I mean? The La Serene. Five of Swords, Ace of Rods, the Justice. This person asking themselves, and even potentially you, why is it that no one has scooped you up yet? How come you're not necessarily in a relationship yet? A committed one, right? A serious one, right? And you Sagittarians may let them know you're not in a serious relationship yet because, you know, just haven't met the right one yet. You know what I mean? It usually takes the Sagittarians quite a bit in order to get them to kind of settle down and to relax. Because Sagittarius is not necessarily a settling down type. You know, the energy that they bring, as well as, you know, this phobia of disappointment and stuff like this, is more than enough to kind of keep them busy and kind of keep them all over the place and distracted, you know what I mean? Not to say that they're terrible people. I'm just saying that, you know, if you ask me, they suffer from a phobia that really shouldn't exist at all, you know. Because my brother's a Sagittarius, and, you know, me and my brother didn't necessarily see eye to eye, but, you know, my brother's in Alaska and stuff like this, right? Because he come from Trinidad, but my brother's in Alaska. Moors are all over the planet, right? But I wish that things could have worked out differently and stuff like this. And I do have to take a certain level of blame. But the situation is, what I'm saying here, why that's important is the Sagittarians do have a phobia that is not really rooted in reality that may ever even really happen. So in other words, it's a delusion, right? It's a delusion. So far, things between the two of you, what it is I'm seeing is really working, okay? Y'all two are hitting it off. It's just that it's up to you, Sagittarians, not to let this phobia, this innate phobia, screw with y'all, as well as just maintaining whether or not this person still wants to be with you through their words and their actions. But that's all I have for you for today. Comment, like, subscribe. Peace.